Hi, this is Brandon from thirstgym.com. Today we're talking about exercise called the kettlebell or dumbbell side bend. This is a great abdominal and oblique exercise, but it's also really good for getting the rib cage moving in the frontal plane. So a big issue with a lot of exercises that we choose to do are just straight up and down. And while that sometimes cannot be a bad thing, other times if that's all we repeatedly do, we're not usually moving in the frontal plane or moving side to side, or even on top of that, moving rotationally as well, okay? So what we really want to try to do with this exercise is make sure that we're moving in the frontal plane more so than anything, but also we're still going to get some abdominal work. Now I know there is a big controversy, or people will say that doing side bends makes your abs or your sides thicker and bigger, and you don't want that. I don't know if there's any research behind that. I really don't think there is. I do these as part of my warm-up every single day whenever I train, and I know I'm a little bit thicker, but I've always been this way my entire life. I've not gotten any thicker about the midsection from anything that I've ever done, so I think more than likely you're probably going to be okay. And honestly, if you're really that worried about it, then you can probably find another exercise to substitute where you don't get that feeling of getting wider for whatever reason. So anyways, what we're really trying to do here with this exercise is engage the obliques, or the side abs is what a lot of people like to call it really easily. But another thing I really like is the rib cage function. So first, just making sure that we're not cranked through extension while we're doing this exercise. Our ribs are kind of down. We're in a good neutral, natural stance. But then when we do this exercise, getting good and long, which the nice thing about this is it's going to get the QL and all that musculature to lengthen underneath load, which is a really good thing, especially again, like I talked about, if you're doing this as a warm up, or if you've got any kind of like low back issues, getting that stuff to lengthen under load and then getting it to contract under load can not only help strengthen it, but also help lengthen it with strength, which is ultimately key in terms of keeping low back stuff at bay. But then also the ribs are going to have to pull down as we come this way. So all that musculature is going to pull the ribs down towards the pelvis. And if you're somebody that's super flared out, extended, you're stuck like this, that also is going to help reduce some of that as well, on top of any of the other training that you're doing to mimic that. And then like I said, moving side to side as well in general strength training is also good, because again, there's not that many movements that work on moving side to side in the frontal plane. So I've rambled enough. What you're going to need is a kettlebell or a dumbbell. It's up to you. The difference really isn't going to matter all that much. But what you're going to do is you're going to take the weight on one side, and then you're going to feel your abs on the other side. So in my right hand, I'm feeling my left abs. All this having to contract. Otherwise, if it didn't contract, it would just pull me down, right? So I'm already getting some work by just holding the load statically. Then you can put your hand up on your head. That's usually what you'll probably see a lot of people do. You honestly can just leave it at your side. It's really not going to make that much of a difference. I like to personally have it by my side, because then I can measure where my fingertips are going. And if I'm seeing a bigger range of motion over time, that means that's probably warming up better. But I'm also can make sure that I'm contracting to the same point as well. Okay, so what you're going to do is I like to lower first. So I'm going to take the kettlebell lower towards my ankle, but make sure that I get a not through extension. I'm still kind of keeping my ribs down. I'm just going to lower as low as I comfortably can, and then contract as hard as I can on this side when my hand comes down by my knee. So here, pull. Here, pull. And I can already feel my QL getting good and long. This is a QL I've had some issues with for numbers of years, but it feels really good. Do some reps, and then I go to the other side. Same thing. Other side. Okay, so again, like I said, it's a very simple exercise as long as you make sure you're not cranked through extension. But what I really like from this exercise, again, is not going with hundreds of pounds, seeing how heavy I can do them, making sure I get a full range of motion, and letting all that other musculature get good and long. So when it comes to programming for this, I personally like this as a warm-up exercise more so than anything else. If you really want to put it at the end of your training program for your ab stuff, go for it. Absolutely, I think that's fine. I personally like it as a warm-up because I know that I probably will skip it otherwise. And if I'm doing it every day as part of my warm-up, it's almost some quality spine hygiene to keep my back feeling good and happy, so that I don't have any other kind of low back episodes from lifting something else. And as a warm-up, we get all that musculature working really strong, teaching it again how to brace, how to contract, how to relax, how to get good and long. Those are all good things, just like you would do in a normal dynamic warm-up if you run, jump, swam, anything like that. So we're going to get that. We're going to get that rib component. And I really think that that puts together a well-rounded warm-up, especially if we're talking about if you've had any kind of low back issues, you're trying to prevent any low back issues. Now, when it comes to that, for warm-ups, I personally do 1 to 2 sets of 15 to 20 reps per side, and that usually works well for me with just a moderate load. Nothing crazy heavy, but enough that I can feel that I'm getting good movement, and then every now and then I might go up, I might go down, just depending on how I'm feeling. If you're doing some working sets, again, I really think probably 10 to 20 reps on each side is a good place to be for 2 or 3 sets. That's probably going to be enough. In terms of your abdominal training, I wouldn't make this the sole exercise of your abdominal and trunk work. I think there's other better things that you can do, but this is one that I've had some really good success with, and I think you'll find that if you implement it, you'll also have some good success with it as well. Got any questions? Leave them in the comment section. Thanks. Have a great day.